The turkey was dry, the tension was thick, and I was 27 years old sitting at the kids' table. Again. Well, at least Chelsea has a real career, my mother announced, gesturing toward my older sister with the serving spoon. CPA certification, benefits, retirement plan. That's security. Chelsea smiled modestly, though her eyes gleamed with satisfaction. The firm just promoted me to senior accountant. $78,000 salary now, plus bonuses. The table erupted in congratulations. My father beamed. My grandmother clasped Chelsea's hand. My uncle raised his glass. That's what I'm talking about, Dad said. Hard work, education, real results. Unlike some people, my mother added, her gaze sliding to me, who waste their time on internet nonsense. I stabbed at my mashed potatoes. This was tradition now, the annual Thanksgiving roast of Megan's internet hobby. It's not nonsense, Mom. I'm a content creator. Content creator. My Uncle Barry laughed, nearly choking on his roll. Is that what kids are calling unemployment these days? I'm not unemployed. I make videos about sustainable living, zero-waste cooking, DIY home projects, videos, my grandmother said sadly, shaking her head. In my day, people had real jobs. Your grandfather worked 40 years at the steel mill. And died at 62 from black lung, I muttered. What was that? My mother's voice went sharp. Nothing. Chelsea leaned back in her chair, radiating superiority. I'm just saying, Megan, maybe it's time to grow up. You're 27. How long can you play with cameras and post pictures of your lunch? I don't post pictures of my lunch. Same difference, my father interrupted. The point is, you need stability. Health insurance. A 401k. What happens when you're 50 and this internet fad is over? Social media isn't a fad, Dad. It's been around for. Everything's a fad until it's not, Uncle Barry said sagely, as if he'd just shared profound wisdom. Remember Beanie Babies? Pokemon cards? This internet thing will blow over, and then where will you be? I took a long drink of water. They had no idea. None of them knew that my internet hobby had generated $643,000 in revenue last year. They didn't know about the brand partnerships, the sponsorship deals, the affiliate commissions, the digital product sales. They didn't know because I'd stopped trying to tell them 2 years ago, after Chelsea had literally laughed in my face when I'd mentioned my first sponsored post. Someone paid you to post a picture? How much? Like $50? She'd cackled. The whole family had joined in. So I'd learned to stay quiet. Let them think what they wanted. Megan, sweetheart, my mother said in that condescending tone reserved for explaining things to children, we're genuinely concerned. You live in that tiny apartment, you don't have a car, I don't need a car. I live downtown and bike everywhere. See? Bikes. My father shook his head. At 27, your sister had a BMW. Leased, Chelsea corrected, but yes. Because I have a real job with real income. How much do you even make doing this video thing? Uncle Barry asked, genuinely curious. What, maybe $20,000 a year? $30,000 if you're lucky? I don't really want to. She doesn't want to say because it's embarrassing, Chelsea stage whispered to our mother. Trust me, if she was making real money, she'd tell us. My phone buzzed on the table. Then again. 3 notifications in rapid succession. I glanced at the screen and felt my heart rate spike. Pay attention, my mother snapped. This is family time. Put that phone away. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Her voice rose. Always on that phone. Always distracted by your little internet friends. Meanwhile, Chelsea is building a real future. Mom, I just need to check. No. She slammed her hand on the table, rattling the dishes. For once, just for once, can you be present? Can you participate in this family without your face buried in that screen? My phone buzzed again. For more notifications. The banner previews showed partial messages from my management agency, but I couldn't read the full content without unlocking it. I'm sorry, but this might be important. More important than family, my grandmother asked, wounded. More important than Thanksgiving, my father added. Chelsea's smile was pure poison. Let me guess, someone commented on your video? Earth-shattering stuff. Actually. Megan, I'm going to say this because I love you, my mother interrupted, her voice taking on that therapy-speak tone she'd learned from daytime TV. You need an intervention. This internet addiction is destroying your life. You have no real career, no real relationships, no real future. You're 27 years old with nothing to show for it except a phone full of strangers. That's not. Chelsea has her CPA. She has Mark. My mother gestured to Chelsea's fiancé, who'd been silent through dinner, wisely staying out of it. She has a house in the suburbs, a promotion, a future. What do you have? Videos about recycling? Composting, sustainable fashion, zero-waste living. Nobody cares, Megan. Chelsea's voice cracked with frustration. Nobody cares about your mason jars and your reusable straws. It's a hobby. A nice hobby, sure, but it's not a career. My phone started actually ringing. The sound cut through the tension like a knife. Everyone stared at it. Don't you dare answer that, my mother warned. I looked at the screen. Samantha Chen, my talent manager from Vertex Digital Management. She never called during holidays unless it was urgent. Below her incoming call, I could see 6 unread emails, 12 text notifications, and 3 missed calls. I need to take this. No, you need to. I answered and put it on speaker before I could stop myself. Maybe it was the wine. Maybe it was 27 years of being dismissed. Maybe I was just done. Megan. Samantha's voice burst through, electric with excitement. Finally. I've been trying to reach you for 45 minutes. Where have you been? The table went silent. Every eye locked on my phone. I'm at Thanksgiving dinner with my family, I said carefully. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Samantha laughed, slightly hysterical. Okay, sit down. Actually, are you sitting? You should be sitting. I'm sitting. Verified creator status approved. Instagram just confirmed, 2.4 million followers. You're officially in the top 1% of creators. But that's not even the big news. My mother's face had gone pale. The brand deals, Megan. The brand deals just closed. Ecolife offered $340,000 for 12 months. Patagonia came in at $180,000 for a 6-month partnership. Greenhome matched Ecolife at $340,000 for exclusive kitchen content. That's $860,000 in brand partnerships, and we haven't even counted the smaller deals. Chelsea's wine glass slipped from her hand, red wine splashing across the white tablecloth. And the book deal. Samantha continued, oblivious to the chaos on my end. Chronicle Books finalized the offer, $425,000 advance for your zero-waste lifestyle guide. Plus your digital course sales from last quarter just cleared, $156,000. Your affiliate commission from October alone was $47,000. My father's mouth hung open. Megan, do you understand what I'm telling you? Your total projected income for this year, including all partnerships, sponsorships, affiliate sales, course revenue, and the book advance, you're looking at $1.8 million. Million. With an M. $1.8 million, my grandmother whispered. And next year's projections are even higher. Samantha was practically shouting now. The Patagonia deal includes options for renewal. Netflix reached out about a sustainability show concept. A Netflix show, Megan. And TED Talks wants you for their 2025 conference circuit, $15,000 per speaking engagement, and they want you for at least 6 events. Uncle Barry made a strangled sound. I need you to call me back in 10 minutes, Samantha said. We have to discuss contract terms, creative control clauses, and the Netflix meeting schedule. But Megan, congratulations. You just became one of the highest-earning creators in the sustainable living space. You did it. She hung up. The silence that followed was suffocating. I looked around the table. My mother, frozen with the serving spoon still in her hand. My father, red-faced and speechless. Chelsea, staring at the wine stain spreading across the tablecloth like blood. Uncle Barry, blinking rapidly as if trying to reboot his brain. My grandmother, clutching her pearls, literally clutching them. $1.8 million, Chelsea finally said, her voice hollow. Dollars? This year's projected total, yes. But you post videos about jars. Mason jars for storage, yes. Also sustainable fashion hauls, zero-waste grocery shopping, DIY cleaning products, composting tutorials, thrift flips, eco-friendly home renovations. I post educational content about sustainable living to 2.4 million followers across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. 2.4 million, my father repeated weakly. That's more than most small-town populations, Uncle Barry said, still processing. My phone buzzed with an email notification. I pulled it up and read aloud, unable to stop myself. Subject, Partnership Confirmation, Patagonia Environmental Initiative. Dear Megan, we're thrilled to formalize our 12-month partnership. Attached, please find the contract for $180,000, with options for renewal at $240,000 for year 2 pending performance metrics. We believe your authentic approach to sustainable living perfectly aligns with our brand values. Patagonia, my mother whispered. The clothing company? One of the largest outdoor apparel brands in the world, yes. They want me to create content featuring their products because my audience trusts my recommendations on ethical fashion, another email appeared. I kept reading. From Chronicle Books, Megan, the editorial team is ecstatic about the zero-waste home. Your advance of $425,000 will be distributed as follows. $212,500 on signing, $106,250 on manuscript delivery, $106,250 on publication. We're fast-tracking for a spring 2025 release to capitalize on your current momentum. A book, my grandmother said faintly. You're writing a book? I already wrote it. They're publishing it. It'll be in Barnes & Noble, Target, independent bookstores nationwide. Chelsea's face had gone from pale to blotchy. How is this possible? You just film yourself cooking and organizing closets. I create educational content teaching people how to reduce waste, save money, and live more sustainably. Last month, my videos were viewed 47 million times. My audience engagement rate is 8.7%, which is 4 times the industry average. Brands pay premium rates because my followers actually trust me and act on my recommendations. 47 million, my father echoed. Views, yes. Across all platforms. My phone buzzed again. A text from Samantha. Also forgot to mention, Amazon wants you for their influencer storefront. Projected $30,000 to $50,000 in additional monthly commission. And Whole Foods reached out about in-store demonstrations. This is insane. I showed the screen to the table. Whole Foods, Uncle Barry said numbly. They want me to do live demonstrations of zero-waste shopping techniques in select stores. It's still in negotiation, but the preliminary offer is $8,000 per event. $8,000, my mother said slowly, to go to a grocery store? To educate their customers on sustainable shopping practices while showcasing their bulk sections and eco-friendly products. It's marketing for them and content for me. Chelsea stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. This isn't real. This is some kind of scam. Nobody makes that kind of money posting videos on the internet. I pulled up my banking app, something I'd never thought I'd do at Thanksgiving dinner. That's after taxes, after paying Samantha's 20% management fee, after my quarterly estimated tax payments to the IRS. I made $1.4 million last year. I'm on track for $1.8 million this year. My mother made a sound like a wounded animal. The apartment you mock? It's a 2-bedroom loft in the downtown Arts District. I chose it specifically for the natural lighting for content creation and the proximity to farmers markets for zero-waste shopping content. Rent is $2,200 a month, which I could pay for a year up front if I wanted to. But you don't have a car, my father said weakly, clinging to this one piece of supposed evidence of my failure. I don't need a car. I bike everywhere, which fits my brand. But I could buy a Tesla Model 3 in cash tomorrow if I wanted one. I choose not to because it doesn't align with my content message about reducing consumption and carbon footprints. Your brand, Chelsea repeated, her voice cracking. You have a brand. Yes. I'm Megan Chen, sustainable living educator and content creator. My brand is accessible, achievable sustainability for everyday people. That's what 2.4 million people follow me for. This whole time, my mother said, tears forming, we thought you were struggling. We thought you were barely getting by. You thought that because you never asked. You never listened. 2 years ago, I tried to tell you about my first major brand deal. $25,000 from a sustainable homeware company. Chelsea laughed and asked if it was $50. So I stopped sharing. $25,000, my father said. 2 years ago? That was my first deal. They've renewed 4 times since then. Current annual contract with them, $95,000. My phone rang again. Samantha. I answered on speaker again. Quick update, she said. Netflix meeting is scheduled for December 12th in LA. They're flying you first class, putting you up at the 4 Seasons, and the show concept is a 6-episode series about transforming homes to zero waste. Production budget is $2.3 million. If it gets greenlit, you're looking at $75,000 per episode as host and executive producer. Netflix, Chelsea whispered. A Netflix show. Potentially, I said. It's still in early development. Also, Samantha continued, Ted just confirmed all 6 speaking engagements for 2025. That's $90,000 total. And I have 3 more brand deals pending, one from a major automotive company wanting you to review their new electric vehicle line. $200,000 for that one. Thank you, Samantha. I'll call you back in 15 minutes. I hung up and looked at my family. Really looked at them. These people who'd spent years making me feel small, worthless, directionless. So, I said quietly, still think I should get a real job? Megan, sweetie, my mother's voice had gone syrupy, desperate. We had no idea. If you'd just told us, I tried. You didn't listen. But you could have tried harder. You could have shown us the numbers, the proof. Why? So you'd respect me? I shouldn't need a 7-figure income for my family to treat me with basic dignity. That's not fair, Chelsea said, but her voice lacked conviction. We were genuinely worried about you. No. You needed me to be the failure so you could feel successful. Chelsea's the smart one with the real job. Megan's the flaky one wasting her life on the internet. It made you feel better about your choices. I don't need to, Chelsea started. Don't you? You just spent the last hour comparing your $78,000 salary to my internet hobby. You measured your worth by what I supposedly lacked. My phone buzzed. I showed it to the table. That's just YouTube ad revenue. Just one platform. Just passive income from views. $52,000, Uncle Barry said. In 1 month? Projected, yes. Last month was $43,847. My December revenue will probably hit $65,000 because holiday content performs better. You make more in a month than I make in a year, Chelsea said, and something in her voice broke. Yes. Doing what? Making videos about recycling? Teaching 2.4 million people how to live more sustainably, yes. Showing them that zero-waste living is accessible and achievable. Helping them reduce their environmental impact while saving money. That's my work. That's my career. That's my real job. My mother reached for my hand. I pulled away. Megan, please. We made a mistake. We're sorry. Can't we just move past this? Move past what? Years of contempt? Years of dismissing my work? Years of treating me like a child who needs to grow up and get serious? We didn't know, my father said desperately. You didn't care to know. You decided I was a failure and treated me accordingly. So what now? Chelsea asked, anger flickering through her shock. You're going to rub this in our faces? Going to make us feel small because we didn't know you were rich? No. I'm going to leave. I stood up, gathering my jacket from the back of my chair. Megan, no, my grandmother said. It's Thanksgiving. You can't leave. I can, actually. I have a conference call with my literary agent in an hour to discuss the book marketing strategy. And Samantha needs to go over the Netflix meeting prep. And I have 3 brand partnership contracts to review. I have work to do. On Thanksgiving, my mother asked, horrified. Creators don't get holidays, Mom. Content schedules don't stop for turkey dinner. This is my real career, remember? We'll do better, my father promised. We'll support you. You'll what? Suddenly respect my work now that you know I'm wealthy? That's not respect. That's just greed. That's not fair. Chelsea said. Isn't it? 5 minutes ago, my work was internet nonsense. Now you want to know about my brand deals? That's not love. That's calculation. I walked toward the door. Behind me, I heard my mother crying, my father starting to bluster, Chelsea's voice rising in desperate justification. You can't just leave. Uncle Barry called. We're family. I turned at the door. Family supports each other. Family respects each other's choices. Family doesn't spend years mocking someone's career and then demand inclusion when that career succeeds. So that's it, my mother said through tears. You're abandoning us? I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm choosing not to spend holidays being disrespected. If you want a relationship with me, you're welcome to reach out. But it will be on my terms. With respect. With recognition that my work is valid and valuable. Just because you make money doesn't mean, Chelsea started. This isn't about money, Chelsea. It's never been about money. It's about you treating me like a human being with a legitimate career instead of a failure who needs saving. I opened the door. Cold November air rushed in. Megan, wait, my grandmother called. The pumpkin pie. You haven't had pie. I almost laughed. Of course. Pie would fix everything. Enjoy the pie, I said. I have work to do. I left. Walked out into the evening while behind me, my family erupted into chaos. Arguments, recriminations, desperate attempts to understand how they'd so thoroughly misjudged my life. 2 weeks later, I sat in the Netflix offices in Los Angeles, surrounded by producers and executives discussing my show concept. They'd loved my pitch. The contract was being drafted. My phone buzzed. A text from Chelsea, Mom told me you're not coming to Christmas. Please reconsider. I'm sorry. We all are. Before that, I looked up your accounts. 2.4 million followers. I had no idea. I'm proud of you. And before that, can I ask you about sustainable investing? I have some money from my bonus. I'd responded to none of them. My mother had sent a care package with a note, so proud of my daughter, the Netflix star. As if she'd always believed in me. My father had left voicemails asking about investment opportunities in the sustainability sector. Uncle Barry had sent a LinkedIn connection request. I'd ignored them all. The Netflix executive was talking about shooting schedules, about my creative vision, about how my authentic voice resonates with the exact demographic we're targeting. This was family. These people who valued what I created. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Chelsea, I read that you're speaking at TED. I want to come watch. I want to understand your world. I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back, the tickets are $6,000 each. Do you want to pay that to watch me talk about mason jars? 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Chelsea, I deserve that. Me, yes. You did. The dots appeared again, but I put my phone away. I had a TV show to plan, a book tour to schedule, and 2.4 million people who actually cared about what I had to say. Maybe someday I'd forgive them. Maybe someday I'd want them back in my life. But today wasn't that day. Today, I had everything I needed. Have you ever had family dismiss your non-traditional career path? How did you handle it when they finally realized your success? Share your story in the comments.